Hi, Stitchers.
Hi,
I'm Laura.
and I'm Keisha, and we are the Pattern Queens. And welcome to Special Stitch with Us, episode 29. Today is Sunday, November the 27th, and this is a channel about cross stitch.
And friendship and silliness and rambles, and wondering whether either of you remembered to look up the episode number before we got started.
The answer is usually no. So, as I said, this is a Stitch with Us. We throw these in here every once in a while. Both Laura and I are coming down from the holiday, so we're just going to
Mhm.
stitch today. So, what are you stitching on today, Laura?
I am working on a Yurt Hakron Hollow, and I am working on this June block. I will be
June.
filling in the church. Sorry, there we go. I will be filling in the church today.
Awesome.
How about you?
I'm going to be working on
Oh,
Death by Cross Stitch. Oh, yeah, you should show yours, huh?
there it is. Sorry. So I've got the 1 month in the hoop, and that's the whole thing so far.
Nice. So I'm working on Death by Cross Stitch from Long Dog Samplers, and you will not get to see the whole thing because I have to roll and pin all of my fabric. But I'm going to start working here. I'm going to work on, I think, a flower vase and a bird and whatever else seems right at the time. And this is a piece of 36 count agave linen, and I'm stitching in 3809 DMC.
It's just kind of fun on those projects because you can just stitch along and, oh, hey, I think I'll do this one now.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'm going to stitch. What part of this I'm going to stitch? Do I want to stitch a whole bunch of border? Do I want to stitch a weird bird? Do I want to stitch the fish that it's eating? All of the options. So how was your holiday, Laura?
We had a lovely quiet time, and Katie and Jeff tortured us all with fabulous smells all day, and then we didn't eat until about 6:30 in the evening.
Oh gosh,
So, but it was so good.
that
And we
sounds
hung out and watched our traditional Thanksgiving movie. We
mhm.
watched Die Hard.
Ah, perfect. I had a great time visiting my in-laws. Um, we did not have to wait that long for food. My mother-in-law had most of the food ready whenever we got there, but we did have to wait for my sister-in-law and my nieces to come um, before we could eat because we got there a little bit earlier than they were expecting. So that's fine. We just kind of palled around. Um, I did not have a quiet day because whenever you get three kids together in a basement with lots of toys, it's just going to be loud. Um, my favorite thing was they have this train table with train
Oh,
tracks and different trains and things like that. And my wonderful son decided that he was going to run around the table and have the train going on the track. And then he was going to yell, Mom, I'm going really fast. Mom, I'm going really fast.
wow.
Over and over to me. And of course, my nieces jumped in on this. And so they were all yelling that they were going really fast.
Now, how
And
old are your nieces now?
so one of my nieces is 10 and the other one is 4.
Well, that's
And
got to be a hoot.
yeah, and James is 2. So it was just a whole lot of fun. And my in laws have this basement. It's pretty big. On one half, they have my father in law's man cave, he likes to call it. He has his TV and he has his computer where he does some work down there. And um, it's really nice. And then the other half is the kids' game room and a sewing room and some storage. And um, so my father-in-law was sitting and watching Christmas movies over in his section. The kids were playing in their section. And then we had a card table set up to put together a puzzle. And that's where me and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law all hung out. So lots and lots of fun festivities. And then my husband and I got to go on a date day on Black Friday. We went and saw the new Black Panther movie, which was great. And I cried several times.
Uh-huh.
And 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 then we went to a brewery that was nearby. And that was fun. And then we went to there's a place called the Cheese Shop where you can go buy a bunch of cheese, but they also have like you can get a cheese board there. So we ate some cheese. So
Fun.
I'm
Um,
sorry.
that movie started me off crying from the very beginning.
Oh yeah. No, it got me at the beginning, it got me in the middle, and it got me at the end. So
Hmm.
so I like come out of the movie theater. My husband wants to talk about the movie, and I'm like, I don't have time. I don't have the emotional capacity to talk to you about the movie right now. We can talk about it later. So if you are into that sort of thing and you haven't seen that movie yet, you should go see it. And it's also beautiful, so it's worth seeing in a theater, I think.
Yes. We were supposed to go see The Glass Onion on Wednesday, which is the second Knives Out movie.
Mhm.
And I just didn't think I could go do that Wednesday night. If you don't know, I went to the hospital Monday and was there and got out on Wednesday, but um I'm fine. It's not a huge deal. It just was a very sudden thing and came up and um really took it out of me. I slept like nobody's business. And I know it's because they were pumping me full of things, but still, I slept and then I slept and then I slept some more and then I
Right.
slept some more. But I also stitched every day. My
Yes.
streak is intact.
Yes. No, I got the notice that you had went to the hospital. Of course, I was worried about you. But then I was like, "Oh no, does she have stitching?" And then I found out that she did because I live pretty close to the hospital. And so I was almost like, I am just gonna run a project up there just in case. Because I
I
knew that you'd be so sad if you lost your streak.
Yeah. I as we're walking out the door to go to the emergency room, I looked over and I'm like, that would be an easy thing to take with me. So I did scoop up a project and took it with me. And, the nurses would look at what was going on and they were just kind of amazed that I was doing something while sitting there. But otherwise, I would have slept the entire time. And I
Right.
just didn't need to do that because I will be going back to work tomorrow.
Well, hopefully it's a pretty easy day.
Yeah, I think getting through this first week will be interesting.
Right. So I
Oh,
have to ask you, your gluten-free pecan pie, was it good?
oh, it's a gluten-free bourbon pecan pie.
Oh, gosh.
And you can't really take the bourbon, just makes it a little sweeter.
Mhm.
It's very good, very good. So it was definitely a success.
There's been a lot of talk about this gluten-free pecan pie. There's a bakery near us that has went completely gluten-free, and that's where the pecan pie was from. And I was really hoping you'd get to enjoy that.
I've had one piece.
Mhm.
I really haven't been eating a whole lot, which is kind of normal.
Mhm.
But, I had to make sure that I had a little sliver of that because I know what they spent on that pie. Katie also bought vanilla bean ice cream, and really, it would be just yummy to just have some pie and ice cream.
Oh yeah, for sure. That sounds great.
I can skip breakfast and just have pie and ice cream, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. We're officially in the holiday season. There's no food rules.
There you go.
I I also had my fair share of pecan pie this weekend. I really like pecan pie. And there are some like traditional sort of desserts that my mother-in-law always makes. Um, so uh we also had those, but I love pecan pie. I was so excited to have it.
That's one thing that I just always waited for.
Hmm.
Um, we also had this thing that we call pear jello. You can find
Hmm.
it on Pinterest. It says pear lime jello. We've changed the jello out to lemon because we
Hmm.
like that better. But it's, I mean, it's just a two-layer thing, and in the bottom you mix um, pear halves, and you take the juice from them and make the jello with it, and then you blend that with a little bit of cream cheese, spread it out in the bottom of a pan, let it set, and then on top you just put a whole bunch of whipped cream,
That
and
sounds
it
good.
is so good, and it's really, really clean tasting.
Hmm.
So um it's nice to have, it's really light, nice to have
Yeah.
something like that in the middle of your crazy big meal.
Yeah.
And I kind of became a jello junkie while I was at the hospital. So I was having sugar-free jello. They had orange and red. So
Yes. Yes. Yes, I remember you messaging me that you were eating so much Jello, and I asked if you at least had a variety to choose from.
I
Um,
just wanted fruit for sure.
right. Oh my gosh. Speaking of fruit, so um, I don't know. I think my son is going through a growth spurt because we cannot keep enough food in him. He will eat and then he'll turn around and he'll ask for a snack, which is usually not what he does. He'll ask for snacks. We give him plenty of food during the day and things like that, but he's just like he wants to eat constantly right now. So my mother-in-law was trying to have healthy snacks for the grandkids, whenever they were there. And so she had this basket that had grapes in it. And very early on, James spotted the grapes.
Uh,
He's like, I know what I like to eat, and it's grapes. So before we even ate the dinner, he was asking if he could have some grapes. And I said, well, yeah, you can have a couple of grapes. I just didn't want him to ruin his appetite. Um, that boy ate so many grapes that day because after we finished eating, he knew that the grapes were there. So he kept going over and he could just barely reach them. And he just kept getting grapes. The point where we had to put them in the refrigerator and be like, oh, there's no more grapes. Um, because he had eaten so many grapes.
poor
Uh,
silly boy.
and then I felt so bad for him. So the kids in the family really like black olives. My husband really likes black
Oh,
olives too. So on James's Thanksgiving plate, he put a couple of black olives. So James had eaten like some mashed potatoes and had a little bit of he had some applesauce and then he eats one of the black olives. I think he thought it was a grape. It definitely wasn't a grape. And he just kept mushing it around in his mouth like, what has happened? Why don't I like this? This is something I like. And then he was done eating Thanksgiving dinner.
you stuck a surprise in. I am done.
I am done with this. Like he didn't even want to eat any more mashed potatoes, which is something he loves. He was just like, nope, nope, my mouth stopped working. This was a grape, but it didn't taste like one, so I'm done.
Um, Katie and I had been talking on Wednesday about the things that she was cooking, and
Mhm.
she said something about, oh, I found this green bean casserole recipe. And I said, well, just make sure you cook the green beans before you put it together. And she's kind of looking at me and she goes, well, I don't know if that's what the recipe says or not. And when she got in the next day, she looked and she said, Mom, the ingredient it calls for is cooked green beans. Now, the only reason that I know this is because the first time that we ever made green bean casserole here, I followed that recipe exactly.
Mhm.
Nowhere did it say to cook the green beans.
Oh,
It told you to put them all together and stick them in the oven.
mhm.
You cannot cook green beans in the oven.
Right.
There is no amount of baking that will cook green beans. And seriously, it never said it in it. So
Mhm.
we learned very early on that you just have to know that when they tell you to make green bean casserole, they don't like to tell you to cook the green beans first. So at least Katie said cooked green beans, but she said she doesn't even know if she would have noticed that.
If you hadn't said it.
Hmm. So although her green beans were still crunchy, and I tried a green bean before I put any on my plate, and so I just didn't have any.
See, my mother-in-law makes a fantastic green bean casserole. She's made it for the past couple of years, and she's also gluten sensitive. She doesn't have to be as careful as you do, but she still tries to avoid it.
Hmm.
And she makes her own cream of mushroom soup to go in it with just
Wow.
big chunks of mushrooms, and I love mushrooms. And then she finds like gluten-free French fried onions to put on top of it, and
Hmm.
oh, it's the best. I She's made it for the past couple of years, and I always make sure I get extra. It Green bean casserole is something that I liked anyway, but I really, really like hers.
Um, Katie's recipe this year that she tried out was Ina Garten's. It's a cranberry, I don't know what they called it. It just was like a cranberry sauce.
Mhm.
And I had said to her, "Oh, the last time we had cranberry sauce, it was just so sweet I couldn't eat it. Since I've been diabetic, I'm more sensitive to the sugar." So she makes this thing and we're smelling it the whole time and it just smelled fabulous.
Mhm.
And I took a little taste when I was fixing my plate and I thought, "Oh, yeah, I can have this." So
Mhm.
it was slightly sweet, but it was all this citrusy stuff in it. It had orange and lemon and apples. It was just so, so good. And it was a perfect accompaniment with the turkey.
Mhm.
And the other thing she tried this year was a butternut squash risotto.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous.
that sounds good.
They like to really, she and Jeff really enjoy doing the Thanksgiving meal and they tag team and do certain things and they set up a schedule and
Mhm.
they had a pretty good time with it.
Well, that's fun. There isn't a whole lot of experimentation that happens with our Thanksgiving, though. My mother-in-law is now trying to watch her sugar, and I guess she made just the worst cranberry sauce you could ever imagine. She likened it to battery acid. I did not
Oh,
try it. She's like,
well,
"No, if you're telling me that, I'm not gonna try it." I don't really like cranberry sauce anyway, so
you'll have to tell her that the Ina Garten recipe is a big hit.
alright, I will. Um, so yeah, it was, we had, turkey and dressing, and if you wanted it, sweet potatoes and cranberry sauce, and hot rolls and corn and green bean casserole. It was just so, 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 so good.
They did not make sweet potatoes this year. I think
Oh,
that's one that they said, we can give it up.
mm. See, I don't really eat those either, but other people like them. So, and since we kind of travel, and we get there whenever the meal's pretty much done. We don't really help a whole lot with the cooking of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. My boy did get to help make some Christmas cookies though,
Oh.
because my nieces live closer to my mother-in-law, and so they can help make Christmas cookies. We always have them at New Year's because that's when we celebrate Christmas with my in-laws, and they always get to help. But James is now getting old enough to where he would like to help with things like that too, but he lives too far away. So, we're not just going to pop up there, one day of the weekend and make Christmas cookies. So he got to be included, and that was really fun. He kept talking and talking and talking about making cookies. And so they did that whenever my husband and I were on our date. And I think of all the people who went to Thanksgiving, I think maybe James had the best time. 'Cause he doesn't have a sibling, so he's not used to having just like kids around all the time to play with. And my nieces spent the night. So it was just 2 days of just
Oh, wow.
constant playing and fun, and he was copying everything that my niece Ellie would do. He just wanted to be right there. He wanted to sit next to her. He wanted to have drinks of milk when she was drinking her milk. Um, he wanted to play whatever game she was playing. It was really sweet to watch. It'll be one of those fun things to kind of talk about whenever they're older.
I can remember that when the next grandchild finally came along in Jeff's family, because Katie was the last one on my side and the first one on Jeff's side.
Oh, fun.
And it was a while before anyone else had kids.
Mhm.
And it just, Katie was the one who always did certain things at Thanksgiving and Christmas. Well, in Thanksgiving, we always went to Jeff's big family reunion. So there were lots of people there.
Mhm.
But Christmas was always, she got to be the one who passed out all the packages, and she was the little star during the whole thing.
Well, and see, I was the oldest on both sides. So I got to be the little star. But the next one in line is one of my brothers, and he's 4 years younger than me. So I didn't get to be the star for very long. And then cousins started to be born. On my dad's side, my mom's an only child, so no cousins there.
Well, I want to say the next one in Jeff's family is 6 years younger than
Mhm.
Katie. So long enough that she was definitely aware that there was a shift.
Gotcha. Well, and see, my the brother who comes after me, he's definitely quiet. He doesn't have like a big personality. My youngest brother has a big personality. So there was a little bit of a shift whenever he got old enough to do things on my mom's side anyway. But I was still the star of that one. Don't let my brothers tell you any differently.
You're so funny.
So, when are you going to start decorating for Christmas? I know that Katie's already in the process.
Yeah, Katie decorated her little nook.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how my energy holds out for one thing. But
Right.
we have to get to everything downstairs and get it up here, get things switched out. There will be a little bit of change back here behind me.
Hmm.
And um, a lot of it will probably stay up because, well, I don't know. I may have enough Christmas pictures to take up this wall.
Yeah,
My cardinal will stay.
right.
How about
We
you? Are you already getting ready to set things up?
Well, we're talking about putting the tree up, I guess this week. Um, my husband has his busy time is right now at work, so most of the time he spends at home, he's spending resting. So we don't get things up super quickly, but and some years before James, we just kind of skipped it actually because we don't hold any of the Christmas celebrations at our house. Um, but now that we have James, he'll probably really enjoy having a Christmas tree. So we'll put it up.
When I was dating Jeff, his mother told me, and she's really the one who got me cross stitching. His mother told me that it was her goal to have to take every picture off her wall and replace it with a Christmas picture.
Oh, that's a good goal.
So it was kind of fun. And, because she told me when we were younger, then I started very early making sure that I had Christmas pieces in my stash.
Mhm.
And I would get them finished and we would get them framed and up on the wall. So it is a good way to like slowly build your collection.
Right. Yeah, I need to start doing that. I feel like I've stitched a few Christmas pieces, but I don't have them. My problem is fully finishing them and getting them to where they can be displayed.
You just need to pull your Hawk Run Hollow back out, right?
No, I just need to figure out where all the supplies went. I've had a couple of shifts in things since I worked on it last, and um,
Well, I'm just thinking that would be the easiest one to get finished and on the wall, right?
that's true. I don't have any work left to do on it. That and I have to go down. I think it's probably in my stash in the basement, but I have a Santa too, a Mirabilia Santa that I was working on that it does not have much progress at all. Um, so those two, I think I could probably get done by Christmas and have them up on the walls. I have a little bit of gift stitching that I've been doing, so gotta finish those up. And then, if you haven't seen, the Black Needle Society put out a Christmas snail that is adorable. And I did start that, but I've only done like 32 stitches on it. So I didn't do much stitching while I was away. Um, but it's really cute. And if you've been to the Black Needle Society retreats, then you'll know that it's kind of the third in the series of those. But it's just so cute. And I'm really excited
And
to finish.
Rudolph has a red nose.
Yes. Ah, I love it. It's so fun. So I'm gonna continue working on that, I think.
Katie was sitting in the hospital with me and she said, we can't do a Black Friday sale. Everything's packed up for us to move. I've taken all the inventory down. There's no time to, really get any of that going. What if I designed a snail?
Mhm.
And I said, oh, well, I think that would be awesome. So she pulled it out and started working on the snail. And if you're getting the nice list box, you got an email and it gave you a list of colors that you might want to have on hand when you're opening your advent box. And the colors from it will work for the snail.
Mhm.
She used the same palette. So
Yeah, that was because I got a text about it and I was like, well, now I need a shopping list. And Katie's like, you've already got it. Or maybe you said that. I can't remember who said it. But then you guys pulled a trick on me because you said, we're gonna release this on Black Friday. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I'm in the car on the way to my in-laws and I saw something that it had been released. And I'm like, okay, well now I've gotta turn on my Wi-Fi hotspot and go in and get this. I was in the middle of like rural, hard to get signal, had to download for like 5 miles on the interstate trying to get it to download.
So it is a digital release. Katie said it's not Pattern Keeper
No,
compatible.
no. And even if you try to put it in Pattern Keeper, it doesn't, it'll read some of the stitches so that you can actually mark them off. It won't read the thread color, so you just put it in as like one big color, but it doesn't read the top part of the snail.
Right. So it's just a PDF.
Yep.
And it was a quick one and it should be cute. You can print it off though, since it's a PDF.
It's very cute.
I have a snail needle minder today.
Nice. Is that from Connie? Because I think I have one that matches that.
I was thinking that this one was from Jennifer.
Oh, maybe so.
It's one or the other of them. I have 2 or 3 that are in a same kind of a pattern. This one
Mhm.
had frogs and snails.
Nice. Um, so getting ready for like Christmas season and everything. I think I mentioned this last week, but I will be opening all of the Black Needle Advent box. I'll be doing short videos doing that starting on the 1st because I am opening them one day at a time, despite the terrible, terrible temptation to open them all right now. Uh, and James has his own Advent box that he will be opening too. So if you are interested in watching those, I think last year most of them were like 2 minutes because we do them right before we go to work and daycare. So if you want to see those, we'll be doing that. Of course, if you want hard hitting, this is what's in the box, and I'm going to read you the description of everything and tell you some stories about it. There'll also be an opening on the Black Needle Society Flosstube channel. So you
There
should watch
will.
them if you want some actual information about things. We'll just be opening them and I'll be trying to keep James still long enough to film.
Katie and I are doing the hashtag 12 days of stitching, and we did a video already and put up what we are counting for that time. So we will every day give you an update of what's going on with that.
That'll be fun. I
Are
try
you
my best to maybe show what I'm working on. I haven't, I don't know that I'll work on 12 different items. Um, but I will be stitching on Christmas and winter related pieces during that time. So hopefully I can show you, but it depends entirely on my co-host. My Advent co-host is not as easy and patient as my normal one. So
and if you haven't joined us before, really you can choose 12 projects. You can choose a project and do 12 stitches or 12 minutes or 1200 stitches or 12 hours or whatever you want to do. Incorporate the number 12 and just make sure that you pamper yourself a little and stitch every day during the 12 days of stitching. And we intend for it to be Christmas and winter themed projects, but you choose what makes you happy.
because really you just want people to stitch in all of the hubbub of the holidays, right?
Yes. We want people to take some time for self-care.
Which is nice.
And speaking of having already done videos, I need to make you guys a video. and show you what my December whips are, which definitely includes my 12 days of stitching, but I
Mhm.
have a few more than that too.
I'm excited to see what you're gonna pull out.
I
I
have
know
some
some of the plans because I watched the 12 days of stitching video, but
I have some fun projects.
Mhm. Oh, cat cameo.
Yeah, it's Bella. She is not my friend. She was mean to me last night.
Oh no.
And then I wouldn't let her back on my lap, which just greatly upset her. And I'm like, no, you do not get to come up and bite and scratch me and then think I'll let you sit on my lap. That's just not how it happens. And of course, I have the adorableness that is Tiger, sound
Mhm.
asleep on my lap.
Laura told me that maybe she would have worked on life after death, but she didn't want to disrupt the tiger. So
He's just so sweet. And, he's also so warm.
which I get because this morning I was going to stitch a little bit. It's like I said, I have some gift stitching that I was going to work on, um, and then James wanted to come sit on my lap and watch his TV show. And oh man, I am so cold, but my husband and my son are both so warm. They are little furnaces. And so I was like, okay, well, I'd much rather sit and cuddle on the couch with you than I would stitch. So we'll just be doing this.
Okay, I came to the end of another one.
So, question for you. Are you the kind of person who listens to Christmas carols before Thanksgiving, or are you a person who has to wait until after Thanksgiving is over before you can listen to the carols and watch the Christmas movies and do the things?
Well, I grew up as a choir kid,
Mhm.
and you start on Christmas music early.
Right.
So it never really affected me. Then I
Mhm.
started dating Jeff, and his family was like, oh, no, 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 you can't do music until you can't listen to Christmas songs
Mhm.
until Thanksgiving. And we could listen to them on the way home from Thanksgiving dinner, which was kind of fun. We would be in the car and driving and we would be listening to stuff. But as part of the Black Needle, we pack your nice list. And if we can make it work, Katie will have a playlist set and we will listen to Christmas music while we pack. Because
Oh, fun.
got to be in that Christmas spirit when you're packing the nice list, right?
Right.
How about you?
See, I generally I don't start listening to music and watching the movies and all that stuff until after Christmas or after Thanksgiving. Um, it doesn't bother me if other people do though. So they've been listening to it at work a little bit, and that's fine. But we did my husband and I, we used to drive a little bit further to go to Thanksgiving, and that's kind of changed a little bit, but we'd have a 6-hour drive home. So one year he made a list of a playlist of Christmas music with some of his favorites and some of my favorites, and we would listen to that on the way home. But we didn't do that this year. This year we listened to a podcast that we enjoy together that we only listen to on long road trips whenever James is asleep. So,
Well, that's fun.
my husband and I are great big nerds. Him more so than me, but that's okay. I'm also a great big nerd. And there's a Dungeons and Dragons podcast that we really enjoy that comes out every couple of weeks, but we don't get long road trips that often. So we just kind of bank them up uh, until we go on a trip, which is really funny because one of the cast members that we really like is was moving at the time, so he wasn't going to be on the podcast for a while. And so we were both very sad about it. And then I looked at the date and it was June. This happened in June. We're a little late to the party.
Oh my gosh. Katie and I tend to chat in the car, and
Mhm.
we're always planning, always coming up with something. And so we don't listen to much of anything in the car.
Yeah. Let's see, my husband doesn't really talk a whole lot, so generally we just kind of sit. We listen to audiobooks too on
Hmm.
those ones, but it's hard now because James has gotten old enough to where being in the car doesn't mean that he's going to fall asleep immediately. And we only really want to listen to things whenever he's asleep so that I can listen to it because he likes to chat. He doesn't like to be quiet and listen to whatever we're listening to. So, so our listening time has become a little bit more sparse than it used to be, which is fine. I like talking to James because you just never know what he's going to want to talk about. Sometimes he surprises you. Like I learned, um, I don't usually get to talk to uh, his teacher in his classroom very often because she gets there after I drop him off and is gone before I go to pick him up. Um, so I got to talk to her the day before Thanksgiving, and we were just talking about all the stuff that he was learning. And she said, "Has he told you his colors in Spanish yet?" And I was like, "No, I didn't know he knew colors in Spanish." And she's like, "Oh yeah, there's a song. Here's what it is." He sings it to himself all the time in in school. Just walking around, sings it to himself. So I'm
All
like,
fun.
well, I guess I will look this up so that I can know about this song too. And so we have just been singing the colors in Spanish all weekend. I guess this is good. I guess this is good.
I'm sitting here thinking, I think I know most of the basic colors.
Yeah, and it's only like the basic ones, but I was telling my I have a coworker. Well, I actually have two coworkers who are fluent in Spanish. I was talking to one of them and I said, I think James might be smarter than me because he knows all of these colors in Spanish. And I couldn't tell you what purple is. And now I know purple. It's morado because we've been singing that song.
Well, okay, and I'm going to tell you that there are different versions of that because it can be violeta and it can be purpura.
Mhm.
Purpura. I don't know where the accent goes in that one, but yeah, just there are different versions. And I'll ask my ELL kids and they're like, uh, that's one of those colors that they're like, yeah, no, they don't just pop that one out.
Yeah. So maybe it's different shades or maybe different regions. I'm not
Well,
really
violeta would be violet, so it would be if
Mhm.
you're naming Roy G.
Yeah,
Biv.
right. But anyway, I've just been red is rojo, red is ro.
Oh,
That's so there's a whole song. I now know the song. So if you want to know what any of the like comes in a pack of 8 crayons colors are,
that
I've got you.
must be a long song.
It is. It goes because it does it 3 times. But the last is shout hooray. So you only get 8 colors, but well, I guess you get 9 colors. Because they do tell you what gray is.
Oh, well, that's fun one.
Grease. So tune in next time to find out what other Spanish my son knows that I don't know that I have to learn.
I think
I
we,
think it's great.
yeah, and I mean, they're at an age where they can pick up so many things.
Mhm. Yeah. So he can count to 10 in Spanish. Well, he tries his best. he's not really sure what the words are doing. So he kind of makes it through, and then he knows some colors.
That's so fun.
And he knows a bunch of sign language. So I've had to learn some sign language so that I could just review it with him. I'm gonna have to at some point just be like, can you just give me all of the YouTube links to things you watch in class so that
Yeah.
I can
Wouldn't that be nice if they just sent you a weekly update and said, here's what we're watching?
here's what we're doing in our classroom so that if you want to, you can go over all of this. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed by how much he learns. And
You guys do such a great job too with them, but I know that there are parents who are like, yeah, I don't know what to do.
yeah.
And just a note, like a message home where they could click links would probably be fabulous.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Well, because there are just some things that he knows that I don't know how he knew it. Or they have a basically like a letter that goes with an animal and it gives you some of the words that start with that letter and what sound the letter makes, which I think is great. And it's to a song. I had to like Google it and see if I could figure out if there was a place for me to watch it, just so that we could watch it together. And he
Keisha
could
and I
tell
had
me,
a discussion about this because I said, oh my gosh, you're going to learn all your animals and letters, and then you're going to come to school, to public school, and it's going to be all different things. It'll work.
that's okay. So at least he's learning it all now. He's knows what letters A through E say.
Yay.
And he knows a lot of shapes, including what an oval is. It's like, well, that seems. And he knows the word octagon. I don't know if he knows what an octagon is, but he was talking about it the other day. So,
You have to get him on quadrilaterals early. That messes with kids when they hit that in elementary school.
oh
What
yeah,
is a quadrilateral?
he's not really sure because he'll call most things a rectangle. And I'm like, well, technically a square is a rectangle. So you're not wrong, but you do need to know that this is called a square.
It's a special rectangle.
But he's just kind of like, it's four sides and it's not tilted up like a diamond.
That's fair.
They go over that with flashcards in his class, and I have been told that he is the best in his class at shapes. So, proud mom moment. My boy knows shapes.
He's just curious about so much.
Which is good. And will repeat anything you say. So we sent just a get better soon, Miss Lara video. And I was like, okay, blow kisses. And he goes, blow kisses. And then he blows kisses. Like,
It's funny because it's like he realized what he said, and so he's like,
right.
okay, I'm supposed to
Oh,
do this one.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. So
It
who
was
knows
so
what
fun.
who knows what he's gonna be like on video for Advent.
He did really well on the video though, so he's getting
He's a
something fun too.
he he loves a camera, he loves a mirror. We lost track of him at my in-laws' house. So I thought he had went to go pout because we told him no about something. And then I hear him in the bathroom. And my in-laws have a little step stool so that everyone can reach the sink. And their mirror comes down further than ours does, so it's like right behind the sink. So he was just talking to himself and making faces,
Oh, okay.
having the best time.
Intelligent conversation, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. So now that we're getting into Christmassy season, what movies do you have to watch? Do You have a traditional Thanksgiving movie. What do you have to watch during Christmas season?
Well, and really we've only started watching Die Hard on Thanksgiving for the last few years, but it's just become like our joke because the big argument amongst a lot of people was, is it a Christmas movie?
Right.
So we will watch that whole series as a family together.
Mhm.
And we also we watch a lot of the half hour shows, like we like Prep and Landing,
Mhm.
and we like the traditional ones. We like Rudolph and Frosty and all those things. We also will watch both versions of oh, I went brain dead. Uh, we will watch It's a Wonderful Life because that's the one that my
Mhm.
brain went to. Katie and I will watch White Christmas. Have to,
Yeah.
have to. Sisters. Um, and what am I trying to think?
Are you thinking of How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Um, we might watch that. We love the Jim Carrey version of Scrooge. We also will watch Crazy Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Mhm.
Um, Polar Express is like a big must watch. But no, I'm thinking about with the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh,
Miracle
Miracle
on
on 34th Street.
Yes, we'll watch both of those. Those both have their pluses. So we enjoy it.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm sure that I've missed some that we watch. We watch Jingle All the Way because I think that's hysterical with Arnold.
Mhm.
I mean, there are just weird things that get thrown in there. And a
Right.
lot of it is how much time do we have to sit down and watch movies? So who knows? What kind of favorites do you guys have?
So I always have to watch the animated version of like the old Boris Karloff version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
The
Uh,
song is fabulous, right?
yes. So I'm always excited to watch that. I usually also watch the Peanuts Christmas special. And
We usually
growing
watch that too.
growing up, we always watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because that's one of my dad's favorites. And I usually watch some version of A Christmas Carol. My husband loves all versions of A Christmas Carol. Can't get enough of them. So
Yep.
I really like the Muppets Christmas Carol. So we'll probably one.
Jeff's brother likes to watch, he calls it the really awful one. It's the old one in black and white where like the movie shakes. It's
Oh
so,
yeah. Hmm.
and he watches, it's kind of his tradition. And I'm not sure if he really watches the whole thing or if he just watches it and makes fun of it.
We usually do watch It's a Wonderful Life at some point. And then uh, I just watched The Santa Claus with Tim Allen the other day. So my father-in-law had that on. My husband's family definitely has a few more traditional, we have to watch these Christmas movies than I do. My family didn't really do a whole lot of that. So it was just whatever ones I happened to like that were on TV, um, on different, like, you know, TV channels that I would watch. So my parents' work schedule made it so that we didn't have a whole lot of like TV time in the evening together. So I've kind of just cobbled together my own list of things that I have to watch.
Oh yeah, and there are things that are just fun.
Mhm.
So, um, Katie and I last year watched Dash and Lily,
Mhm.
and that was so fun. I can't even tell you which streaming service that's on, but she said she's already watched it 3 times this year.
Oh, really?
She watches a lot while she's planning and designing. She watches a lot of Hallmark movies because she doesn't have to really follow along a lot. So,
I'm excited to build some holiday traditions with James because he's now getting to the age where you can do that. The past couple of Christmases, it hasn't really mattered because he just didn't really absorb anything, but now he does. So I'm excited to kind of start doing that. I did see that in the DVDs we've inherited that we have a Dora the Explorer winter special,
Oh,
and it's
wow.
Dora the Explorer right now, so maybe we'll add that one into our mix for this year at least. I don't know that it will become a firm family tradition where we watch it every year, but
Oh, and
this
have you found Rafi's Christmas yet?
mm-mm, we
Oh, you
haven't
need
yet.
to find that one because I know you guys enjoy some Rafi.
Mhm,
And the Christmas album is just fabulous.
mhm. Okay, well, we'll definitely look for that.
And it has a good mix of wind me up songs and calm me down songs. It's like you might
Okay.
even find some that are good like for Christmas bedtime.
Oh, well, that'll be good because we do listen to Rafi at bedtime every night.
That was one that we just had so much fun with.
I'll find it because, yeah, I'm not sure. Because last year he wasn't really singing, but now he sings all the time. So I'll have to teach him some songs so that he can do
Um,
that.
I can still hear my kids singing "Must Be Santa." So that's from Rafi. It
I
was
wonder,
it was the big hit because you got to sing really loud in that spot.
he'd probably really like that. He loves singing really loud. I've taught him that there are some TV shows that just have like fun theme songs, and I'm like, just sing it really loud, sing it as loud as you can. That's always fun whenever we watch that show, with unsuspecting grandparents who don't know that he does that. Uh, like happened a couple days ago.
Yeah, so James likes this song.
He's not yelling in pain or anything. He's just
Mhm.
yelling, whoa, because it's part of that song.
Okay. Do you have any other traditions? Like my husband said to me the other day, we need to all go pile in the car and go look at Christmas lights this year. And I think we've missed that the last couple of years. So that sounds lovely.
We didn't do that last year, but that is something that I like to do. Timothy and I, well, we did it James's first Christmas. We took him around because we thought that he'd like that, but he really just slept in the car most of the time. Um, because we didn't know anything about, 5 months 5 month olds and how much they'd like Christmas lights. But we did do that a lot when we um, before James. So I don't usually get to spend a whole lot of time with my husband during this time of year because of his work schedule. So we would pick one night and we'd get hot chocolate from McDonald's usually, and
Uh,
then we'd drive around. He'd look up good places to go in the city to look at lights. Um, I don't know that we really have. Well, my parents, whenever we were younger, we would always pick a night to go drive out to certain neighborhoods where I grew up to look at the Christmas lights. So that is kind of a tradition, but we didn't really have much other. I mean, every year, we would usually my mom's parents would come down. We'd spend Christmas with them on Christmas Eve. They'd go home Christmas Day, and we'd go over to my other grandma's house for Christmas. So usually we do that now to some extent. My little family goes to visit my parents on Christmas Eve, and then we leave Christmas Day after we go to my uncle's house. His house is taken the place of my grandma's since she passed away. So we all get together there. And then Um, we haven't done it for a few years, but my husband and I would always go to Denny's when we'd
Uh-huh.
come because it was the only place that was open whenever, well, I guess IHOP too, but we'd go to Denny's and get, their Rudolph pancakes or whatever Christmassy thing they had going on, and then go home. We haven't done that the past couple of years though. James has kind of thrown a kink in some of those things. Maybe he's getting old enough that we do that now. And then
I'm sure he
it,
would love Denny's.
probably so. He loves breakfast food, so he'd probably be really into it. And then we always go to my in-laws for New Year's to celebrate Christmas with them then, um, which is always a good time. And that my husband's family has, like my family doesn't have very many traditions. His family has all the traditions. They have like a traditional New Year's spread. Like there isn't a New Year's meal. There are New Year's snacks. So you just go and get a plate whenever you feel like it and you load it up with the snacks. The snacks just stay out um all the couple days that we're there, and it's a good time. So, how about you? Do you have anything else other than going out to look at Christmas lights?
We will have some sort of plan going on, but typically we will have we'll get up and we'll open stockings, and Jeff will have been up and gotten breakfast going for us. And we have some things like you have to have hash brown casserole, you have to have pull aparts, whatever you
Mhm.
guys call those. They're the cinnamon,
Yeah, monkey bread.
yeah, monkey bread, pull aparts, whatever. And then we come up with some sort of main dish because Katie's not a big egg girl.
Mhm.
So trying to come up with something that we will all eat is sometimes a challenge. But
Mhm.
sometimes that means that I will go stand in the kitchen and make eggs, which they just love. So
Mhm.
just eggs to order. And coffee, have to have coffee and hot chocolate.
Mhm.
And we'll just kind of spend the day enjoying the day once we get through everything together. And New Year's, we're kind of that same attitude. We don't do a meal, we do snack stuff. And we'll usually have something that's a little more substantial in there so that you can
Mhm.
have something along with all your snacks. But we definitely think you should just be able to snack your way through New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And okay, last year, Katie and I started a tradition. So on Black Friday and then on Small Shop Saturday, we did stitching days with the black needle. So
Mhm.
we were online for 6 hours each day. And then we decided we would do it for New Year's. And we started our 22 for 22. And this year we will again have a 23 for 23, but it will not be 23 new starts. Anything that we have left from last year will still be in the lineup. And then if we finished anything, we can add in either a new project or a new start or a new whip, another whip,
Mhm.
and put those in and just have them be um, things that we would kind of like to see get finished during the year. Now, I knew last year that I was not going to finish a bunch of mine because I was touching all of my whips this year.
Right.
So I think I have one finish at this point of my 22 for 22. And I'm
Mhm.
okay with that. So, but we will, New Year's Eve, we will get on at 6 p.m. on the Black Needle on a Zoom call. And we will be on with people until just after midnight our time. It's really fun to see midnight happen in all the different time zones.
Yeah.
So we enjoy that. And the California people always try and convince us to stay on for a couple of extra hours so that we can celebrate New Year's with them. We're kind of done by then. And then the next day on New Year's Day, we will start at noon and we'll hop on another call and we will stitch just again for another 6 hours. So until 6 p.m. Central. And we'll just hang out and stitch. We've really enjoyed the community that we've built. And we enjoy all the people coming and stitching and just hanging out. And it's just been fun. So if you're not in our Facebook group, it's the Black Needle Society, and you just can join those Zoom calls. We meet once a month anyway, but we do these special ones around holidays. So, because we know some people struggle with it, and we like the idea that there's a fun, safe place to come and just chat.
And everybody in the group is really nice too. And
Mhm.
they don't pressure you. If you're a person who's like more of an introvert and you just kind of want to listen to the conversation, that's good too. I don't get to jump on as often as I'd like, but the times that I've been on, I don't really talk a whole lot in a chat like that. But I like to listen and see what people are working on. You don't even have to turn on your camera if you don't want to.
Yeah. And they
Just
talk
kind
about everything under the sun.
of,
So
yeah. So if you're looking for a place just to have like nice chatty background noise even while you are stitching, it's a good thing to do.
we enjoy it. The biggest thing that we'll ask you is that we go around and ask everybody what they're working on.
Mhm.
And you can either show it, not show it, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to tell us about it.
Yeah.
So, but it is a lovely group.
Mhm. Like I said, low pressure because I know sometimes I find it a little intimidating to just jump into a group where I don't know people and I'm not sure what the expectations are. So, just a word to my fellow introverts. If you've never, it's low pressure. It's low pressure. No one is really expecting you to talk if you don't want to.
But there are a lot of introverted people in that group. But I love because we just kind of let the conversation go. Now, nobody ever gets into a place where we don't really want to be discussing. But because there's so much diversity in the conversation, I feel like everybody has a chance where they can jump in and add.
Mhm.
So it's just fun.
And like you said, it's a safe space. So if you find that sometimes places aren't safe for you, it's a safe place. And if it ever became not a safe place, don't get in on Mama Bear, Laura, and Katie because they will they will get you right out of there. Not that that's ever really happened, but I know that you guys would be no.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that we have the kind of group we do because people just know that, you know, we enjoy the conversation. We like everybody to be here and enjoying themselves. And I mean, we've had some loud, heated discussions, but nobody has ever gotten mean or mean spirited about it. So usually they're all arguing from the same side.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Sometimes you need one of those groups too, where you could just be like, I'm mad about this. Me too.
yes, and they will be, and they're so funny. So, but the variety of projects that we get to see is just amazing. And there are people who like to stitch on specific things during those kinds of chats because it's easier for them. So we've gotten to see the progression of different projects as we go along. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, do you think you're getting to a stopping point?
I think I am good whenever you are, although I did just start a row. So,
So did I, and I'm the one who asked that question.
okay. So it won't take me very long. It's not a very long row, but
Sometimes you don't plan. whenever you ask those questions. I just looked at the time. I was like, oh, we've been on here for a little bit. But of course, I just started one too. So
Okay, okay, I have one for you. Traditional Christmas colors or non-traditional Christmas colors?
see, I really like seeing different palettes of non-traditional Christmas colors. But I'm so basic and I'm just red and green, red and green. But I really do I like seeing I like silvers and blues. I like seeing, the palette that you all picked for the nice list box this year, like kind of a vintagey sort of thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm just kind of red and blue. Or red and blue, red and green. Goodness, red and blue wouldn't be traditional at all, would
No,
it?
I like all the colors. I'm the one who always wants the different colored light strings, and Jeff would like to have white light strings.
See, it's the opposite in my family. I would like just the regular white lights, and Timothy would like all the different colors. So we bought an artificial tree that's pre-lit that has a setting for white and a setting for different colors and a setting for it's just going to fade in and out of and too. So that's how we unite our sensibilities.
Okay, I got back to the end of my row. So I was filling in the little
Whoa,
church today. I did give my groom his little cravat, which
Mhm.
meant that his head is no longer floating, and
Well, that's
that's a
good news.
bonus. Yeah. So I'll probably sit here for a little bit longer and finish filling in the church because that's all the white I have to do. Oh, and
Nice.
really, it will be close because I actually have to put a bell in there. Yeah, I should finish this now. So I have one more full row across, and then I'm going to just outline the rest of it.
Nice.
So,
Wow. So I worked on, I did this part of a flower vase and this little diamond up there. I'm using Pattern Keeper, so I can tell you that I did 147 stitches.
yeah, I don't have any idea today. I would have to count.
That's okay. I just know because I've been marking the stitches on Pattern Keeper, and I'm almost to 12% done on this.
Ooh.
I've got some makeup stitching to do. I didn't really stitch on it very much this month, and I had stitches to make up for October, so a little bit behind. So
I am behind also, so I do need to pull mine out and work on it. But I had also said I would work on this month, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to pull it out. It's not going to get the attention I wanted it to, but
well, I
it
said
is.
I'd work on it too, and I told people to yell at me if I didn't work on it, and I haven't worked on it yet, so I'm so sorry.
Well, I'm not going to yell at you.
That's good. You would be within your rights too, because I did tell people to yell at me.
Oh, no, we can't do that.
Well, do you think we've rambled for long enough today, Laura?
I think we have definitely rambled enough and maybe had a few shenanigans thrown in.
A couple. Well, then I guess all that's left to say is goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good week.